Introduction. Irrigation is crucial for achieving sustainable development goals, food security, and rural development in Africa. However, despite investment and abundant water resources, Nigeria irrigation practice has not achieved its desired goals. Agriculture in Africa is heavily reliant on rainfall, making it vulnerable to climate variability. Irrigation can help mitigate this, but faces challenges such as vulnerable to climate variability. Irrigation can help mitigate this, but faces challenges such as water scarcity, inefficient water use, and weak institutional frameworks. Integrated water resources management structures offer a promising solution by promoting sustainable water management practices. This study focuses on specific watersheds in Nigeria and other parts of Africa to explore these challenges and potential solutions. Overview of IWRM. The Dublin Statement on Water and Sustainable Development recognized the need for a holistic approach to water management, as well as Agenda 21 of the United Nations Year 1992 Conference on Environment and Development emphasized the importance of integrated water resources management. 2, the establishment of Global Water Partnership, GWP, in 1996 played a significant role in the development, adoption, and promotion of IWRM globally. At the World Summit on Sustainable Development in 2002, it was recognized as a key approach to achieving sustainable development. It has continued to evolve over time as an essential tool in addressing climate change issues, as well as other emerging challenges, and thereby promoting sustainable water management practices globally. Then integrated water resources management. Institutional structures involved establishing frameworks that promote coordinated water, land, and related resource management to maximize economic and social welfare while ensuring environmental sustainability. This requires a participatory approach, appropriate policies, and management instruments. Nigeria Integrated Water Resource Management Framework is overseen by the Integrated Water Resource Management Commission, established in 2007. The Commission regulates and controls water resources development, use across the country. Then these are the key objectives of the Commission. Regulation and control. NIWRMC sets standards, issues licenses, and monitors water resource development and use. Water resources planning and management. The Commission develops and implements plans to ensure sustainable water management. 3, consumer protection. NIWRMC protects consumers from unfair practices and ensures access to safe and affordable water. Integrated water resources management is a process that promotes the coordinated development and management of water, land, and related resources to maximize economic and social welfare equitably without compromising the sustainability of the ecosystem, according to GWP 2000. Then these are the components: coordinated development and management, maximizing economic and social welfare, sustainability of vital ecosystems, then participatory approaches. Then IWRM institutional structures, on the other hand, are the frameworks and mechanisms needed to effectively implement IWRM principles and practices, and which has this component, which are: 1, enabling environment, institutional framework, management instruments, stakeholders, participation. Then basically, this is Nigeria hydrology, which is influenced by two major rivers, River Benue and River Niger. Then also, we also have Lake Chad and other rivers within the western littorals and eastern littoral, and thereby forming the 8 hydrological catchment areas that we have in the country. The Nigerian IWRM management structure. The Nigerian IWRM management structure comprises of 3 stratum, namely State Integrated Water Resources Management Committee, State Stakeholders Advisory Committee, and the Catchment Management Coordinating Council. A river basin is the basic unit for watershed planning in the context of IWRM. The SIWRMC represents this unit, and it is comprised of all stakeholders within the water sector in the state, whose primary functions is to identify water management issues for effective planning and management, and forward SIM that are not within their mandate to the SAC. Then the principal role of the advisory committee is to provide informational inputs for technical, scientific, and economic activities on behalf of the commission. It would also be required to regulate and provide support to the process of integrating land, water, environmental resources management, and as well, then the Catchment Management Coordinating Council, CMCC. The apex body keeps track of activities of federal and state government within the water sector and environment, harmonizing them as to assuage frail nerves and agenda renewed confidence amongst the communities. Then basically, this is a study carried out in 2018 by Sustainable Development Goals. Then some of these are the parameters used. We have enabling environments, then institutions and participation, then management and investment. Then the last one is financial. Then all these are part of what is used to assess IWRM institutional frameworks, and it was conducted across Africa, and it was seen that a lot of countries are still not there yet. You can see on the yellow patches that those are the countries that are within the medium low, of which Nigeria happens to be one of them. It could either be around just hovering around 50% of implementation, and you can see that we are quite behind. Then the ones on the green patches are the ones that are that have done a bit better than others, and you can see some countries within the Southern African parts and even in the West African, Benin Republic is even far better than what Nigeria has achieved in terms of implementation. Then also, a case study was also carried out on South Africa. You can see that South Africa has been able to improve on their water management as a result of their adoption, their level of implementation of IWRM, ROM. Then also Kenya has been able to develop water resource management areas where their water management is run based on IWRM principles, and they have really done well compared to some African countries. Then Egypt is a major implementer of IWRM principles, and you can see that
you have 5 minutes.
Okay,
please.
Okay, and Egypt has done very well even before IWROM principles were initiated, you understand, they were the very first amongst nations to come up with participatory water management in the area of water users. They were the first to formulate that. Then case study Nigeria. And Nigeria basically, the model we have for Nigeria is you understand, can be attributed to Hadejia Jamare Basin, which is Nigerian poster for water management, and they have done quite a lot in managing water resources in that basin. And among the river basins in Nigeria, they have been the only river basin that is able to develop their own IWRM institutional structures. Then, despite the substantial progress made through these irrigation projects, they are not without challenges. Concerns regarding environmental impacts such as ecosystem disruptions, depletion of water resource, then must be addressed. Additionally, the need for sustainable water management practices is more urgent than ever. There are numerous impediments in the success of irrigation schemes in Africa, more so Nigeria, which have remained unresolved for too long due to a barrage of factors, amongst which are limited financial resources, insufficient funding, has limited project's ability to implement all planned interventions and main project activities. Then community resistance, initial resistance from some community members to adopt new practices and technologies has hindered projects across Africa. Then climate change impact, unpredictable weather patterns and increased frequency of extreme events has affected project implementation and outcomes. For example, droughts or floods can impact effectiveness of water harvesting structures or soil conservation. Institutional capacity, the limited capacity of institutions to manage and maintain infrastructure and activities pose huge challenges. Then land ownership, which we basically grapple with in Nigeria. One primary irrigation challenge in Nigeria is the one associated with Land Use Act. Which centralizes control of land ownership by government, and it hinders efficient water resource management for irrigation due to complex bureaucratic processes for assessing land. Then, last but not the least, a lack of political will and backing for the IWRM implementing agency, which is Nigeria Integrated Water Resource Management Commission. It has actually suffered a major setback in terms of having the political will and the financial backing to carry out, you understand, all these, the implementation of these structures in all the river basins and as well all the states. Then in conclusion, IWRM institutional structures offer a promising solution to irrigation challenges in Africa by promoting sustainable water management practices. IWRM structures can help improve water allocation, water conservation, and climate change adaptation. In irrigation schemes, African countries can learn from successful IWRM initiatives in the region and adapt them to their local context. IWRM institutional structures has had varied success across Africa, yet it remains a critical strategy for sustainable management. Okay, just go to the last. Go to the last slide. Okay. Please, let me take it back. Then recommendation, yes. Establishing IWRM institutional structures and strengthening the existing ones. African countries should establish IWRM structures at the local, national, or transboundary level to promote sustainable water management practices. Okay. 2, promote water conservation. IWRM institutional structures should promote water conservation practices such as drip irrigation and mulching to reduce water waste and improve water productivity. Then support climate change adaptation. IWRM structure, institutional structures should support climate change adaptation effort by promoting climate resilient crops and irrigation system. Then 4, encourage stakeholders participation. It should encourage stakeholders participation, including farmers, water users, and local communities to ensure that water management decisions reflect local needs and priorities. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning once again, all of us here. When we started, we were very few, so we gave the presenter 15 minutes to present. But I think more people have come in, so we are going to reduce the timing to 10 minutes. Also, question and answer should be 3 minutes, so that we'll meet up with the symposium that will be starting shortly. Thank you very much. This is the time for question and answer. The presenter has taken us through the structures for IWRM and has shown us the attainment of various countries in Africa, with our own country, Nigeria, being very low. I think we should have some contributions or questions to ask, but we should do it within 3 minutes, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for interesting presentation. Evaristo Mapedza with International Water Management Institute in Pretoria. I only had part of your presentation, but one of the challenges you raised is political will. But on your recommendations, I don't see anything on how you're going to address that. Thank you.
Any other person, please? In the absence of that, you can answer.
Thank you very much. Basically, I think I understand a bit of the Nigerian issue. You understand, without taking it, you understand, generalizing it on the African continent, but I believe that should be the same. In Nigeria, basically, Nigeria Integrated Water Resource Management Commission is the implementing agency. You understand that is responsible, you understand that is saddled with the mandate of implementing all the structures within the river basins, which cuts across all the tiers of government. Because in Nigeria we have national level, then we have state, and then we have local governments. And it is quite, you understand, in as much as it is as simple as it is on paper. You understand, for you to have a coverage across the country, it takes a lot of funding. You understand, it takes a lot of funding, and that funding has not been, you understand, it has not been, it is far from adequate. You understand, and we have raised it on several at several levels, in several occasions. You understand, but you understand, we are still yet, you understand, to get the needed support and the needed push, which is basically, you understand, the political will. And why I'm also basing it as a majorly political will is based on the fact that, you understand, water resources, in as much as, you understand, we want to, you understand, the world has had a shift, you understand, into by adopting water resource management. Then that is what water resources management is run with, you understand, in Nigeria. Then for the fact that the agency, the implementing agency, is yet to have the backing, you understand, because the bill You understand the bill that should you understand that should be enacted. You understand to give us to give the commission the needed push. You understand has been politicized, and yet it has not really gotten the needed attention across the country. Thank you.
Okay. Has he addressed your query? Yeah, thank you very much. So I think that's the only question we have to the presenter. We'll go to the second person. Okay. I hope 3 minutes has not. Okay,
to inform that it is a complementary information that I want to share with him.
Yeah.
That at regional level, that is at the Belgian organization, we are planning to implement an IWRM strategic plan.
Okay.
That which will enhance, that is, it is going to take the good practice within the, because if you take in Burkina Faso, in Mali, this issue of IWRM process is already implemented. They are getting funds, they are doing their own. And at NBA, we wanted to take this practice to share it within the country and reinforce them. That is it. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much. So the next presenter, please hand over the mic to him, the man next to you. I think Mustafa Popola. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Please,
so
you
much.
have 10 minutes.
Yeah, yes. Can I have my slide? Good morning, everybody. And I'm Popola Mustafa, your essay to the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. And I'm a special envoy to Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, which is newly created. I'll be speaking on partnerships. And I look at the operations and the management within the ecosystem. And the paper try as much as possible to bring an innovative model of actually looking at partnerships. Can I have my slide? That's not the one I gave you this morning. Okay, so thank you. So for the icebreaker, it's good for us to actually know what are the facts of the issue and the present, and I believe that we are conversant with some of these figures, but some of them are actually striking. When you look at the total amount of water we're talking about 97% of it are actually underground, and a third of the total global water resources is actually meant for drinking, and you look at about 25% for industrial waste. Of more importance to us is the irrigation system, which is about 40%. And that actually is very significant, and you can see the linkage of what we are doing here with agriculture. So presently, we are looking at about 8 billion people on the planet, and about 5 billion by 2050 are expected to be water stressed. And presently, we have another report that half of the world's largest cities are actually experiencing water scarcity. All in all, it's actually showing us a signal that we need to quickly do something on this challenge. Okay, so okay, so quickly, we look at what is happening in terms of water security in Africa, and we come up with a model that we believe is actually going to be working. When you talk about water security, you look at this side of the presentation, you can see the position of Nigeria and what is happening in other countries in terms of transition within the space of the SDG goals, and our exposure in terms of the water security level. We could see that Egypt is doing a bit better. Please go back to the slide. And Nigeria is still struggling, and Kenya actually on the same pace. We could see that Rwanda is a bit better. And our model that we actually propose is that of a Pentagonal Nexus model, which I'm going to explain, which is essentially looking at collaboration on a long-term basis and to ensure water security. Next slide. Okay, so like I said, there are fundamentals, and you see this Pentagonal Nexus is actually innovative from what people used to know as a triple helix model. And we noticed that for triple helix model, you look at interchange in function between academia, industry, and the government. But we've seen that many projects in Africa are actually being designed when the funder is not at the seat. So we finish designing it and we start talking about the limited resources, we don't have funding and issues like that. So for us, people can actually talk about buzzword across the world, things that works in Europe and America because of the system, but in Africa, it doesn't work. So many a time, even at research level or academic level, we do a lot of beautiful design. When it comes to funding, we don't even know where the funding is coming from. So this particular Pentagonal Nexus have the funder on the table at the design of the project for everybody to know what it means and what they are bringing to the table. And more importantly, the last part are the end users. So more or less, you need to actually look at projects from who is going to use that project from the beginning. And that is the essence of actually introducing this, and we believe it works on other things that we've been doing across Africa, because RIKES is actually a research as a service organization that is Pan-African in scope. So for government, we expect that they actually have their own role clearly stated, and we look at enforcement of policy. However, we develop a lot of policy, and many of them are not implementable. Why? Because when you are developing the policy, you are developing the policy without actually looking at the practice. So when you have a policy, it becomes a document, and there's nobody actually practicalizing it. So for us, we believe there must be an exchange between whenever you are developing on policy and you're looking at guidelines for the practice. And people that will practice are not government people anyway. They are going to be people in the private sector. Academia has a role to play, and we believe when you see the case study I'm going to be discussing with you that happens in Rwanda, everybody has one role or the other. One of it is that when an institution is established, it's expected to play three critical roles. One is teaching and learning. The other one is research for development. And the third pillar is supposed to be community development. So the need of every community is something that an academia or an institution in that area should look at and be able to come up with a R&D that can support that. And they will actually take solution at community scale, not just generalizing that what works in Benin Republic can work in Edo State because it's Benin in Nigeria. That will not happen. So we need peculiarities, we need the role. And if you look at Nigeria, for example, we have over 1,000 campuses. Over 200 of them are universities, and we could actually look at peculiarity of needs and be able to build capacity. Look at that data point at the end. Only 45% of low-income countries have adequate human capacity, despite the number of institutions that we have. So just saying academia are not, they are not necessary in some of these things is actually a challenge to part of the system. Next slide. And you look at the industry, it is expected that they look at efficient production system.
You have 3 minutes?
Yeah. They have an efficient production system, and they can actually look at how can they support their corporate social responsibility that's going to be focusing on water. And a lot of corporate social responsibility we have now, none of them are actually looking at water as part of the core challenges. And the financial is supposed to be the backbone for water security. When we talk about funders, we are not talking about only loans or government intervention. When you are talking about resourcing and you are crowdsourcing a resource, on a table, you're going to see a couple of different components and portfolios that are supposed to come together to implement a project. Many a time we look at one way. There could be many ways. Grants, there could be development finance, there could be crowdsourcing of finance and a lot of things. An aggregate of that should be what will give us results. And that's why I say blended finance model. We need to have a blended one. Next slide. And the community actually have a role. Many a time we have project that has no ownership. Federal government in Nigeria, actually maybe do a project in a local government. Who owns it? So many a time we don't engage these people. There's going to be wastages, no conservation, nobody. So co-creation, co-ownership from the design actually is going to be a game changer to many of these projects. Next slide. And we look at the model that we are proposing, and you can see 5 of them playing their role, ensure alignment in terms of policy and the accountability as government. You see academia providing innovative solution, industry looking at co-investing in infrastructure, and we see funders, like I mentioned, not banks alone, looking at financial gap, and the community is looking at sustainability and how do we actually conserve and manage the local water resources. Next slide. And I said there's going to be a case study. Yes, it was not called a Pentagonal Nexus, but it's actually a sustainable model than in the water security and climate resilient project in Rwanda, where the integrated water management is actually targeted at about 5 million people, Government enacted the policies that they want to see in terms of the program. Academia conducted the risk assessment and all other research that was needed for the project. Industry invested in efficient irrigation system within that model. And the funders come to look at the financial gap and actually plug in money. And they have responsibility for the community to say, take ownership of this, and we'll be reporting on this. That works, essentially. And in conclusion, let me just say we have some exit highlight there. Public-private partnership, we are talking about in infrastructure, enhanced regional cooperation, particularly when we have transboundary water. Like Lake Chad issue now is the model to say that countries that are involved were never working together to make sure that they see it as something that they need to go on. We know 30 million lives has been displaced. We know the implication of that even to livestock sector. And we know what has been the resultant effect, which is the banditry and everything we are seeing today. We should not expect that one to repeat itself. Last slide. Let me just go to last slide because of time. We said Pentagonal Nexus, we've used it, and we see that it's actually very efficient. And it's an holistic solution because it combines all these actors to say, sit down from the designing. And we have a scalable and a sustainable water management framework within the system because you can do it at state level, local government level, depending. You have this same ecosystem at different level of governance, including regional. And climate resilience and equitable distribution of water, both in rural and urban population, can actually be achieved if we adopt this model in Africa. So, and I say by my recommendation, our end point is to look at water security. In water security, 4 things are very important. Water accessibility, availability of it, affordability for people, safety of it. And that is where you can be talking about a secured water system. And then when you actually look at this Pentagonal Nexus, notwithstanding benchmarking it with your PPP model, that you are saying build, operate, and transfer. I mean, I need to challenge even some of us that are in Nigeria. Many of the PPP models that are actually being financed, including the Sukuk, has there been any water project? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, presenter, Professor Mustafa Popola. Partnership for Stakeholder Engagement, Operation and Maintenance. He has taken us through his suggestions and his body. I think it's very clear, but we should contribute to his presentation or we ask questions for clarification. Please, we have just 3 minutes for this. Yeah? You did. Please, we have one hand up.
Thank you.
And second hand also. Please, let's not deliver another lecture, just straight to the point, so that we move fast.
My key word, which he mentioned, and I want to ask a question on, is the word partnership.
Yes.
And it's good that he is from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture.
Yes.
Right?
Political
So
will.
let me ask about the partnership between water resources and agriculture. Let's start from there. This is a program on irrigation and drainage, a conference. I was expecting Agric to be here. Your permanent secretary is an agricultural engineer, 1 year my junior in Nakure. Why is he not here? Why is your minister not here? Thank you.
Yeah, good morning all. I just want to ask for clarification because I saw on your first slide that freshwater resources global, I assume, is 97% groundwater. Please, if you can share some maybe reference to confirm that information.
Thank you so much. The first one has to do with a political question, which I'm going to answer politically. The question is about the collaboration. Once a time, I think water resources was actually part of agriculture. So, I mean, before it was even the ministry. And I can say that from the invitation I got, I have my own invitation to come and talk to this particular platform as a professional. I'm not a staff of the ministry, I'm an appointee of government. That's number one. Number two is that I have my a company that I run. I have a Pan-African organization I run. So government saw what I was doing. I need to come and help them. That's why I was appointed. That's all. Number two is that from the invitation I saw, the minister is supposed to be here for the symposium this afternoon. So, and I heard yesterday that Ministry of Agri will be having one of the sections this morning. I don't know which of the room. So, no, I think there one director is actually coming to present one paper, one of the technical paper. Is at the symposium, yeah. So basically, when I was clarifying on Monday, what are the means of invitation, and I actually was with the ministers, in the minister's office yesterday to confirm. And I know definitely will have spoken to the minister to know when he's supposed to be here today. So the invitation was clear to say you are expected to be at an high-level panel discussion, something like that. So I don't want to say that Agric is not here to participate. They're actually keeping to the terms of invitation that was extended to them. Is that correct? Number two, you spoke about the reference. I actually have the full paper. This is just an extract, and is with the organizer with all the references. I think that will be helpful. About 11 pages, which actually give details to what I'm presenting here. Thank you so much, sir.
So thank you very much, both those that asked the questions and the presenter. I think we'll go straight to the third person on the list, Dr. M.A. Otitoju. Otitoju is the first person. And he will be speaking to us on irrigation development and water management in Nigeria, public policies, practices, coordination, and implementation. Please, you have 10 minutes, and your time starts now.
This slide?
Yeah, it's coming. Sorry, please. Is Oyebanji here? Please project Oyebanji while we sort out this this technical issue. Please, sorry. Oh, yeah, please, Oyebanji, present. Put it. Let's use Oyebanji. You will come next. Sorry, so that everything will be done well. Yeah, sorry. You sing the Oyebanji? Okay, the title is...
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, please, your slide also.
I'm Dr. Oyeshola Oyebanji. I retired from Federal Ministry of Agric, so I'm representing Agric.
Yes, thank you. Agric has now come up.
I retired about 16 years ago, and I'm a consultant agronomist.
The title.
So I've done a lot of training
of
with respect to, for farmers, with respect to irrigation management. So the topics given to me relates to capacity building.
Yes.
I gave,
it's not this.
what my paper is focusing on is public-private partnership, which has emerged as a critical mechanism for addressing African irrigation development and management crisis. However,
What happened? Okay.
yeah. However, the sustainability and resilience of this partnership often face challenges due to inadequate capacity building and training among stakeholders.
Have we gotten this?
So the paper focuses on the role of capacity building and training in enhancing the sustainability and resilience of public-private partnership in the irrigation sector. It also highlights the importance of equipping stakeholders with necessary skill, knowledge, and tools to effectively manage irrigation projects, mitigate risk, and adapt to changing environment and socio-economic conditions. I've given two case studies, one from Morocco, the other one from River Basin Development Authority in Nigeria. Next slide. As for introduction, we are all aware that Africa has a vast agricultural potential, but we still face challenges of food security, poverty, and water scarcity. Irrigation development is a critical pathway to unlocking this potential, ensuring food security and driving economic growth. The continent faces significant challenges in irrigation and water management, exacerbated by a combination of factors such as climate change, rapid population growth, urbanization, and limited infrastructure. Irrigation development is therefore critical to address these challenges and for economic growth. So public-private partnership, public-private partnership offer a solution but face challenges. Capacity building and training are essential for sustainable PPP. Next slide, please. One of the most critical yet often overlooked factors in success of PPPs is the capacity of stakeholders, very crucial. Fostering community engagement and ensuring the long-term sustainability and resilience of projects. Next slide, please. You know, I've given a pathway on how to address food security in Nigeria, and already we are practicing it. Food insecurity is being addressed by addressing irrigation challenges scheme. River Basin Development Authority have done a lot, and then collaborating with public and private sector through capacity building, we can enhance productivity and ensure food security. Next slide, please. The role of public-private partnerships in irrigation development. Public-private partnership combine public oversight with private sector investment and innovation, addressing funding gaps and introduce advanced irrigation technology, enhance agricultural productivity and water use efficiency. Challenges include regulatory barrier, that is a major challenge, risk sharing issues, and sustainability concern. Next slide, please. Challenges facing PPP in irrigation in Africa. Limited technical and managerial capacity in public institutions, such as technical expertise, managerial skill, and capacity to negotiate contracts. Number two, inadequate risk-sharing mechanism between public and private partners, such as financial risk, operational risk, and political risk. Lack of long-term commitment from private sector investors. They are concerned about short-term profit motives. Exit strategy usually are not clearly defined, and misalignment incentives. Next slide, please. Environmental and social risk affecting irrigation projects. Environmental risk, social risk, and climate change vulnerability. Weak institutional and regulatory framework, very common. Unclear policy, weak enforcement, mechanism, and lack of coordination, very common. Limited access to financing for irrigation projects, high capital cost, limited access to credit, and dependent on donor funding. In most cases, we depend on donor funding. No conscious effort has been made to invest on the development of irrigation sector. Importance of capacity building. It enhances the ability of public actors to negotiate and manage contracts. It equips private sector partners with an understanding of local context and challenges. It builds community trust, which is very critical, and participation in irrigation projects. From my experience training the farmers, I observed that building community trust is very crucial, because they should own the project and be able to manage the resources. Improve risk management and adaptation to climate change. Next slide, please. I talk about case study, two case studies. One is from Morocco, public-private partnership in
Please, presenter, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, I will soon finish now. Morocco Public-Private Irrigation Initiative. Morocco has been a pioneer in leveraging PPP for irrigation development, particularly through its national irrigation water saving programs. This is an example. The country's arid climate and limited water resources have necessitated innovative approach to water management. Under this program, the Morocco government partnered with private companies to modernize irrigation infrastructure and promote water-saving technologies. Next slide. A key component of this initiative was the implementation of comprehensive training program for farmers, extension workers, and private sector partners. This program focuses on adoption of precision irrigation technology, especially sprinkler irrigation system as well as drip irrigation system, as well as best practices of water conservation. Farmers were also trained on crop diversification and soil management to maximize productivity. What is the achievement? Focus on modernizing irrigation through PPP. Comprehensive training for farmers was developed on precision irrigation technique based on the adoption, improve water efficiency by over 30%, increase crop yield by 25%, and reduction in water use by 40%. Then the next case study is the Nigeria River Basin Development Authorities. Nigeria River Basin Development Authority were established to manage country's water resources and promote irrigation development. Over the years, several RBDAs have engaged in PPP to improve irrigation infrastructure and service delivery. However, the success of this partnership have been uneven, largely due to capacity gap among stakeholders. Next slide, please. To address this gap, capacity building initiatives were introduced, focusing on training, technical training, financial management, and community engagement. For example, the Adeja Jamare River Basin Development Authority implemented training programs for farmers on irrigation, sustainable irrigation practices, and water conservation. Private sector partners were also trained on project management and risk assessment to ensure the effective implementation of the PPPs. What are the achievements of this arrangement? Implemented training program for farmers and private partners. They have been able to implement training programs for farmers and private partners. The focus on sustainable irrigation practices and water conservation. Recommended standardizing training across all RBDAs. Highlighted the need for stronger. Next slide, please. Hello. The recommendation for policymakers in order to save time. From all these examples, these are the recommendations and suggestions being made for policymakers. Increase investment in long-term capacity building program, strengthen partnership between government, private sector, and academia, develop precise monitoring and evaluation framework, share best practices and success models across African countries. Capacity building, in conclusion, capacity building is essential for the success of PPPs in irrigation. Investing in stakeholder training enhances project sustainability. Collaborative efforts are needed to overcome challenges. Ensuring public-private partnerships deliver long-term benefit for African agriculture. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, presenter. He has presented the effect of capacity building and training on sustainability and resilience in public-private partnerships. The floor is open for questions. We have 3 minutes available for that. Please, if you have a question or some suggestions to make, you can raise up your hand so that we pass the mic.
Thank you very much. I would like to give a caveat that I'm not an academic. And I won't believe that in all that we have been doing, the inputs or the contribution have been largely by academicians. It's a conclusion I want to give. It could be a comment, but the presence of the academics will make me more knowledgeable. If I understand, the entire conference is about irrigation. How to have sufficient water for the irrigation. And when you talk of irrigation and drainage, you are talking of the passage of the water and the application of that water on the soil. And we went through so many of it yesterday. The inadequacy of water, fresh water, the need to reuse wastewater, to treat it on what plant, etc., etc. In this hall yesterday. So my suggestion is we need to ensure that we need to have a tripartite collaboration. And that tripartite collaboration shall be predicated on the will of the powers that be. And how is the tripod? One leg is the farmers. One leg is the government. And the other leg is the academicians. And the academicians should be the interface between the farmers and the government. Because it is the government that will create the enabling environment. The farmers are to be the ultimate beneficiaries. But the intellectual powerhouse is the academics. From all the research results we have been saying, they have been told yesterday here. So the challenge here is we need to be proactive. And why does it start? To me, the river basin development authorities should be the drivers, should be the most critical stakeholders. And there should be advocacy and sensitization, whereby you start from the farmers, from your studies, what are the challenges? Then that will go to the academicians in the research, how those challenges will be addressed. Then you go to the government to have the will to create that enabling environment. This is what I think it should be. And we are all in it. That's why I say all this is predicated on the will to do what is. We don't have the time to discuss more, and I'm not to present another paper. But permit me the luxury of referring to Our Lady from River State University yesterday, when we spoke about Niger Delta and the pollution. Then I told her, look, given that oil is the major foreign exchange earner of Nigeria, which means exploration, drilling, and transportation of oil will continue. And so long as it's continue, the environmental pollution will remain. Now, when will the Niger Deltans be safe to practice agriculture? How could irrigation be possible in Niger Delta given continuous pollution of the environment? Then I said, finally, you need the political will to address it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think it's not a question, it's enhancing. Yeah, it's not a question. So please, we have 2 more presentations, and we'll be joining the symposium at 10:30. We need to stick to time. Please. Yes,
good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As the last speaker said, working on a tripartite action in agriculture, information is very, very important. The other time we have meeting of ADPs, almost all ADPs has no extension agents. They have little or no at all. So unless more extension agents are employed, information will not flow from academics to the farmer. That's the what.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll go back to Dr. Otitoju's paper. He will be speaking to us on irrigation development and water management in Nigeria, public policies, practices, coordination, and implementation. Please, you have 10 minutes for
Okay,
your
the
presentation.
slide. Good morning, everybody, again.
Yeah, thank you.
The topic is irrigation development, water management in Nigeria, public policy practices, coordination, and implementation. We can see this is just the irrigation and water management, what has come out of it, especially in Africa, and the importance of this irrigation and water management. We can see that it is essential to actually increase productivity. Others have mentioned that, to ensure food security, to promote sustainable economic growth in Nigeria and in Africa. We can see, despite the potential benefits of irrigation to achieve these three major things that have been mentioned and others, we can see that many African countries, including Nigeria, have struggled over the years to actually get it the way it's supposed to be done, especially in policy coordination. One, we talk about the policy implementation, the policy formulation, when it is to be designed, when the stakeholders are to be involved, and the implementation of such. One of the problems we have is the problem of coordination, policy coordination. And why do I say this? We were in a program in IFPRI sometimes that they were talking about water resources policies in Nigeria. And the same question that Prof asks now, Professor Samuel Chwange, is what actually happened. You know, and Dr. Popola mentioned that Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Water Resources, they were together before. But I suspect that one of the problems that happened is that when they were actually bifurcating the two ministries, some of the mandates of water resources that were with agriculture when they were together were not actually, properly severed. And when it is like that, there will be issues, especially about policy coordination. And next slide. And all these things have been mentioned, and Nigerian government have invested so much, especially in River Basin, another development authority, another scheme in Nigeria. But I want to say, just like what Professor F.S. Idashaba of Blessed Memory said, after writing so many things, he has a compendium. And that compendium, the title of it is that good intentions are not enough. There are so many good intentions, but are they properly coordinated? Are they properly, implemented? And that is the major thrust of this work and of this very presentation. We have so many things that have been done in terms of traditional irrigation systems, and other ones that are coming, drip and sprinkler irrigation. And what have we? Then let's go. Then you can see the key challenges, some of them mentioned: inadequate funding for irrigation infrastructure, for maintaining such infrastructure, and again, poor management of those infrastructure. Inefficient use of water resources and irrigation practices are actually there. Lack of proper water pricing and metering systems, the metering system, limited access to credit and financing for farmers to be able to even acquire some of the improved irrigation technologies. Then weak institutional capacity and coordination. As I've said, among the relevant government agencies and stakeholders. Then land, tenure insecurity, and fragmentation is there as well. Next slide. Then we can see there are existing policies, especially there are two major ones. I've said it, I said good intentions are not enough. They were good intentions in the right direction. But some of them are actually, affected by issue of coordination. And it affects the implementation. Because if there is no proper coordination, there will not be proper implementation of such policy, especially we are talking about irrigation, development and water management policies. Then we can see these two in Nigeria, National Water Resources Policy of 2016 and National Irrigation Policy. These two are there, but that they are there, are we achieving the much that are actually expected from such? We can see, despite these policies, there are challenges. It has been mentioned, institutional arrangements, lack of clear institutional arrangements. And that is what one of the things that affect our policies. You will see that, one, water resources to make water available, farmers use the water as well. And that is Ministry of Agriculture. If these are not clearly, delineated in terms of who should do this and who should do this by the MDAs, there will be a problem. And that is one of the things that we are having. Next slide. We can see best practices that have been used across different places in the world. Participatory irrigation management in Indonesia, it has been helpful. They use that and it has helped them to, achieve the much successes that they have recorded in their own climate. We have the water user associations used in China that have achieved the much they have done. That is one of the things that have helped them in their agriculture and food security. We have the irrigation management transfer in Turkey, where they transfer the management of irrigation scheme from government to farmers' organizations. And since they are the users, they know why they need those things, and they carefully, guide against this. You talk about
3 minutes.
Ownership of it. When they own it, they were able to. The integrated water resources management in South Africa, then climate smart irrigation in Morocco. These are proven ones. Mechanisms for inter-agency coordination. National Irrigation and Drainage Committee. We have, I met the person that presented on National Integration Water Resources Management in Nigeria, the commission. So all these things have to be properly done so that then the MAUs have to be properly looked into, some of them that they have and those that they may be going to actually foster on how some of these things have to properly done in terms of public policy coordination. Then the joint planning and budgeting has to be there. Information sharing and knowledge management is one of the things that must be done to able to actually do this, because so that different information on how irrigation, where and when and how they are actually needed are actually shared with the other things. Next, the innovative financing mechanism is one of the things we have said it, public-private, it has been said. The blended finance system, the green bonds government can go into to raise money to actually be able to fund some of these irrigation systems. The impact investment as well. Next, should be looked into. Then these are strategies, it has been mentioned, participatory approach, capacity building, performance-based management of irrigation systems and policies, adopting an adaptive management approach. And then we have promoting transparency and accountability. Because if you know this is to be done by this, you know who is to be accountable for such. And that is one of the things that we must look into in policy coordination. These are the priority actions and policy recommendations. There should be increased public-private investment in irrigation infrastructure and services, through a combination of budgetary allocations, which may not be enough, and another innovative financing mechanism. Strengthen the institutional and regulatory framework that will help in actually, coordinating our policies, irrigation policies now. We promote participatory irrigation system and invest in capacity building. Go ahead. Then we have invest in research and development to promote water-saving technologies, develop and implement national climate smart irrigation strategy. Because one of the things that affect irrigation or water use is actually climate change. There can be establishment of a national irrigation information system that helps in dealing with dissemination of data on irrigation performance, the water use, and productivity, crop productivity. Yes? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Presenter, for keeping to time. He has presented on irrigation development and water management in Nigeria, public policies, practices, coordination, and implementation. He has read out a lot of recommendations, but we still have contributions to make or questions to ask. Please, if you want to make any contribution, you can indicate by raising up your hand. The SA is number 1, the man next to him number 2, and someone here number 3. But please, your contribution should be short. We are already running out of time. Please.
So thank you so much. Mine is just a comment, and at the same time just to complement what he has said. What I can say after my presentation is, and the other one is that the gap actually trying to fix kept on coming out. So we create and design projects without the end users at the middle. We create and design projects thinking that only government will fund. These are mistakes. And when we say funders, allow people that have expertise in an area to be the lead. Assumption that infrastructure should be funded by only government in Africa has been a major mistake. And don't let us believe that that will be something that will be sustainable. That was why the model that was proposed is actually peculiar and a need for us in Africa, whereby the users are incorporated and we look at funding as a pillar and look at what we need to do. Number 2 thing I want to mention is, if you look at what my brother here, Dr. just presented, and he's talking about policy formulation. I look at the 2 policies that he quoted. Both of them are 2016. Is it that policy, when they were designed or formulated in the country, they don't get expired? When are they supposed to be reviewed? Do we supposed to be talking about policy of 2016, 2025? Is it going to be speaking to the same reality? So, I mean, if that is not fixed, why are we talking about implementation? It means we're going to have policies that cannot be implemented as at today. It may be good for, fit for purpose then, but it cannot be fit for purpose today. So if that is a problem, you can't implement. Now, if you say you want to implement, you push it to states. They will now going to be implementing in fragmentation. So now you are going to come to the issue of coordination now. When you implement in silo, how do you coordinate? So again, our end point should be that all of this, for us to even be able to measure, where are the data? Where is going to be our national water infrastructure data? So maybe that is going to be speaking to all of us to make informed decisions. I think those are my comments around what has happened, and I think we should actually look at that as part of the critical outcome of this particular engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to reemphasize what he said, clarifying the roles of all the stakeholders in our policy formulation. My observation is that in most cases, when you formulate policy relating to agriculture, roles of stakeholders are not clearly defined. For example, who provides the irrigation infrastructures? They are government. Who utilize the irrigation? They are farmers. Who provide the technology and all this? So we need to clearly define the roles and responsibility. And then we also need to review the role of River Basin Development Authority. I want to say something that may be controversial. From my own experience, River Basin Development Authority concept was brought from United States of America. About 25 years ago, I visited Salt River Basin Development Authority. I went for a program in Colorado State University on problem and practices of irrigation system. My observation harness water resources in the US, United States of America, and they sell water for 3 purposes: energy, domestic use, and agriculture. And most of them are very rich. But in Nigeria, our own River Basin Development Authority, they combine so many functions. That is why you are having problem in terms of irrigation management. When you see some of the irrigation infrastructure that have been provided, utilized by farmers, nobody pays for it. They are not taught on operation and management. You go there after a few years, all the canals have collapsed. They don't desilt. They don't do anything. So I think these are the areas we need to look into. It's not providing money alone. Operation and management and the critical role of farmers, they have to pay for the water. They cannot use the water freely. How do you get money to operate? So these have been a perennial problem, and it will continue to be unless we find solution to it. Thank you.
So please go to the final presentation.
It is mine that is going to be final.
It's yours.
Yeah.
No, we definitely put it
You have to explain. You have to explain why.
Please, this presentation is not here. On the booklet. It's
It
not
is
there.
the third. It is under the.
No, it's just to explain for those who say it's not here. So it's
okay,
not
please,
here.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
My friend here is from the Niger Basin Authority.
Yes.
And they came all the way from Niger to be part of this. The schedule, it was scheduled, but I think he didn't take notice of it on Monday.
Yes.
So it has to come now. And so I want to thank you for allowing this. And they have much to tell us, because when it comes to boundary water issues, they are the principal. So please, let's enjoy this presentation of theirs. Thank you.
Thank you.
In fact, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. No, in fact, I am supposed to pass through the third session on transboundary water management and security challenges. Virtually, should be, that is just before my lecturer, that is Professor Donatos, on the same day. But God had made it. Today I'm redoing my defense for over 20-something years. So instead of being before in the same pattern with my lecturer, today I'm doing the defense in facing my lecturer, which I can acknowledge. Thank you very much. So I'm supposed to give you my delivery on the challenges in regard to the water conflict within a basin organization, which is Niger Basin. Before that, I will start with the statement of the shared vision, that is NBA shared vision, which is to make the Niger Basin an area of sustainable development through integrated management of water resources and associated ecosystem for the improvement of living conditions and property of the population. That is among the 9 countries. And it is 9 countries, 1 vision and 1 basin. So you can go ahead, please, for the introduction. The introduction is that the Niger Basin is a vital transboundary water system shared by 9 countries, Central and West Africa, which is Central Africa, it is Chad and Cameroon, and all the 7 member countries, which are Benin, Guinea, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso. So it provides more than 180 million population in terms of water for irrigation or agriculture, water for energy, transportation, and domestic. However, we are challenged. We have so competitive demand in climate change and governance challenge to lead to conflicts and necessitated the development of transboundary water policies to ensure equitable and sustainable water resources. Therefore, it is necessary to strengthen the transboundary water resources strategy and policies to make the water resources sustainable in the basin. Next, it is shared by 9 countries, which I stated earlier, and it is the largest, one of the largest river in Africa, which is the third after Nile and Congo. And also we have more than 2 point something million, that is kilometer square, with an active zone which is 1.5 millions. Go ahead, please. So what are the challenges in water resources in Africa? We have about 9 of them. I will not list them, but we can go straight to zoom in the basin. Go slide second. At the basin side, we are facing food and energy security, a challenge. High population growth, which can be a challenge, but it is a potential also if we analyze. There is climate change with many variability in interannual and intra-annual river flow, and we are facing security and political issues. And all this will bear with me, that is, it creates a big challenge in the basin, knowing that we have 9 countries to manage, to have the same idea, to push them in the same idea. And also, we have the largest, that is complicated system, ecosystem in it. Go ahead, please. But we have some potentials within the basin. Potential in terms of agricultural potential, which we are having more than close to 5 million hectares for development. But unfortunately, we are doing less. We are about only 9%, which is currently developed. You can see this map. The map that is at the right, it is all the potential development which it can be in the basin. The whole Nigeria, if we look at it in basin, that is River Niger, that's Benue side, it is all developing areas. But we are doing less. This is the actual situation. You see it? Whereas we have so many, that is water bodies, especially in Nigeria, which can enhance these developments. So we have also, in terms of livestock, variety of animals, and many of them, more than close to 100 millions of, that is animals, especially in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, and Nigeria, which creates more demand in water. We have to give them water. A part of the population, which is more than 180 million. So all this, it can create like the conflict between pastoralists and also the farmers and the people that are around, the local communities. So in terms of hydroelectricity potential, the river basin, the River Niger basin has more than 30,000, that is gigawatts, according to all what the assessment studies that we have done. But we are about 25%, which is in use now. So we have so many potentials that we can just valorize, and we can have the development in the basin. Go ahead. In terms of navigation also, which is the first issue that in 1964 that created the Niger Basin Authority. The founding fathers, which are the president in Nigeria, it is Yakubu Gowon. So they created this institution to promote cooperation via navigation issue, that they created the Niger Commission Basin, which became later in 1980 the Niger Basin Authority. So you see, we are doing less. It is only the access for Nigeria, which is from Port Harcourt up to, I think it is Barrow or Lokoja or something, and also on the axis of Benue, which is, last year I was there. It is very, very tedious in terms of maintenance, in terms of dragging, all this. It is issue that I think we can look at it and create potential in terms of what is happening in terms of communication between member countries. Fishing, tourism, industry is all the potential that we have. What are the key conflict sources in the basin? It can be upstream, downstream tensions. We are in Nigeria, you are downstream. You always be looking what is happening in terms of release of flow upstream for you to do irrigation activities and other activities and electricity also. We have also the dam project and water allocation. The dam project, we have to do it. It is not something that we can say we are blocking water that is from upstream. But in the area of we have to feed, we are saying that we have a projection of the population in 2050 that we are going to be more than, in Nigeria, we are going to be 400 million or 500 million. So we have to, and also other countries, the 9 countries there, it is the same pattern because the population growth is too much. And we have the climate challenge issue and water scarcity, agricultural and industrial pollutions. We have also local conflict among water users. All these are sources of conflict that we can be facing. To challenge this, to tackle this, go to the second. Two. Come back. Yeah. So we have some frameworks, that is some policies. Go to next, please. Next. Yeah, what I'm saying, we have put in place so many policies to tackle this issue of, that is a conflict. We have the Niger Basin Authority, which is established to coordinate water resources management among member countries through cooperation and equitable use. And also, we have the Water Charter. The Water Charter, which is in force since 2008, it is in force 2008, and provides a legal and institutional framework for water management, including principle of equitable use, environmental protection, and conflict resolution. And it has 5 annexes. The 5 annexes, it is regard to protection of environment, regard to the water allocation, regard to the water use, equitable water use, pollution and pollution, pollution and pollutants. All these, they are annexes that they are in force. You cannot just at upstream decide to do whatever you want to do. You have to ask or to declare it, to notify it at NBA. We have to give it out to all the member countries so that we can know that what a country upstream or downstream is going to do in terms of development. And also, we have the bilateral and multilateral agreements, which are we have several of them. Like if we take from Niger, we have Niger and Nigerian Commission, which is doing so much in terms of bilateral issues in hydropower projects and irrigation scheme collaboration. And also we have at international level and regional level, at ECOWAS, we have policies which we are taking into account, that is for solving conflict. And also we have at CEMAC, that is for Central Africa, and at level of African Union through AMCAO. And also we have at international level, we have International River Basin Network, which is a body which we are making so many policies with them. And at United
please,
Nations.
just a minute.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No
I have
problem.
an announcement.
No problem.
There is a little change in the order of going for meal. The tea break is ready now. It's supposed to start at 10:30. But now we have ticket. So the young lady behind there will pass the paper round while your session is going on.
No problem.
You will write your name, then it will give you a ticket. We want to stop people who just come from anywhere, invade the place. Before you even enter, they have invaded the place and they have. Thank you very much.
It is good. So to continue, is that all this framework gives support to policies for water resources management. For recommendation for conflict resolution, we think it is good to strengthen the NBS authority that enhance the reinforcement capacity of the Niger Basin to improve compliance with share agreements. And we have to improve the data sharing and monitoring which enhance real-time water monitoring system and data sharing mechanism among countries that improve transparency in terms of water use. It is very important. We have to, because at regional level, we have regional database where all the countries has to be given us data, and we have platform where downstream, upstream, they have all the same information in terms of knowing what is happening upstream or downstream. And also we have to sustain, that is the water management strategy. We have to invest in water conservation, efficient irrigation system, and alternative energy source that can reduce pressure on the river flow. And we have to get a good inclusive dialogue and conflict mediation, which engage local communities, governments, and international stakeholders in dialogue that can enforce understanding at equitable solution. In terms of perspective, at the Niger Basin, we are right now establishing and operationalizing a sustainable and innovative financing mechanism, we are making in place a regional climate change adaptation fund, which is very important. It's going to, at least, if you look at the development of the basin, if we have to rely always on donors, we cannot make it. So that's why all the 9 presidents assigned that recommendation to NBA to look for how we can bring out a trust fund which is going to develop the basin, which the country are the ones that are going to participate and to give priority of what we to do to develop the basin. And we have to modernize and strengthen the hydrological and environmental data observation and network. And we are going to do digitalization of our cross-border cooperation and integration of new innovation, which is satellite-based information, to at least, because of the insecurity, all these devices that we have on ground that we cannot get the data, but we are using satellite information to give at least the role that is assigned to NBA. And to facilitate the access of products and services for end users, decision makers, and potential partners. And at the end, we are strengthening the communication mechanism between the various development actors in the basin. To finish, it is that the Niger Basin Authority, that is the Niger Basin River, it is a crucial resource that require efficient transboundary water policies to prevent and mitigate conflicts, strengthening regional cooperation, promoting sustainable management practice, and ensure equitable resources and allocation of water that enhance peace and economic of the basin. To get that, we have to get a political will, we have to get the community involvement, and also to have the international support. Thank you very much.
We are putting together the repertoire, this thing, so we are extracting. Thank you very much, Tanimo. I'm proud of you. You're welcome. Thank you for your presentation. Please, the floor is open for questions and contributions. If you want to say anything, you can lift up your hand so that we give you. Sir.
In fact, dredging River Niger, it is a more complicated issue. It has started here in Nigeria during Adua's time, I think. From Lokoja, or is it from Baro? No, I'm coming. It is from Delta to Baro. In fact, it has to be an integrated project, Because what we are having here, it is not coming only from Nigeria. It's coming from upstream from Guinea. So at Niger Basin, what we are doing, we have implemented a program which we call it System Control Program, which in the study, it has been identified that, in fact, it is not dredging that is the problem. It is what is coming outside the river, which is certain issue. And we identified the countries which are more impacting this issue. It is Niger, Burkina, and Mali, which they have done so many environmental protection, either by vegetation or by other source of infrastructure which can tackle, that is the transportation of solid, what you call it, sediment. And a project is up on the table with the World Bank to start dragging from upstream to downstream, because the issue of vraiment siltation or sedimentation, it is not only in the core of the river. And that's why we're saying that this work that has been done from Delta to Barrow, I think we have to look at it as integrated issue, which is taken care at NBA. Thank you.
Thank you for the privilege. When you were making the presentation, sir, you made mention a good number of issues that were on ground, and your country was able to solve them in one way or the other. But I remember in 2002, during the World Summit for Sustainable Development, countries were asked to go and develop plans that agrees with the global standard of integrated water resources management. It has a standard in which to address most of these conflicts. So when you are looking for a solution for them, you know where the issues are and know how to tackle most of these problems. When I entered here this morning, the last speaker, when I came in, was discussing issues that have to do with the pollution of water resources in the Niger Delta that is having a negative impact on irrigation. You see, most of the people who cause these problems, they see themselves as accelerators to solve problems. Like in the Niger Delta, people dropping these hydrocarbons in the water bodies, government praise them because they are looking for money. As far as they are concerned, they are accelerators in the national economic development without looking at the negative side of it. Now, for them to understand the effect of what they are doing is to use the strategic action plan that we were asked to develop in 2002. If we had them in place and implementing them, most of these issues will have been reduced drastically if we're implementing them. Now, if the oil people are here with us, having this type of meeting like this, as we are here now, they will have known that by the time they go home, they need fresh water to drink. They need good food to eat. When they hear such messages, it will speak to them that there's a need for moderation in our oil fields to stop polluting most of these water bodies. That is the essence of the implementation of integrated water resources management. So if you have this model in your country of this concept, the people will have been made to understand these issues at fora, just like we are having now. In the time of planning everything they are doing, they will come, stakeholders will come together and agree on certain issues and go back to in their own area of economic development and implement them. So most of issues like this will have been addressed. I will stop here for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I will make a clarification. The man you met speaking was not a presenter. He was making an observation of what transpired yesterday. And Engineer Tenimo is talking about Niger Basin Authority. But you spoke, across all the presenters that were here, even though you were not here. So thank you very much for that comment. We are done, but our rapporteur will want to round up, provide a little of what transpired here so that we can all agree and hope that it will enter into the communique. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So these are the highlights of what we discussed, we had here, our discussions here. The first one here says integrated water management. Institutional structures across Africa are important in addressing irrigation challenges in Africa. These structures must be strengthened. Then I have achieving effective operation and maintenance in water management requires strong partnership among various stakeholders. This multi-sectoral partnership approach is presented as a key strategy for enhancing water security across the continent of Africa. Then case studies such as Adelia Jumare River Basin Project in Nigeria, Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, and others demonstrate the positive impact of irrigation on agricultural productivity, food security, and local economies. Then I also have the proposed Pentagonal Nexus model for water security in Africa, emphasizes the crucial role and collaborations between government, academia, industry, funders, and the communities. Okay. Effective irrigation development and water management in Nigeria requires sound public policies, coordinated efforts, policy, that's in bracket, coordination, policy coordination, and efficient implementation strategies around policy framework. Then multi-stakeholder partnership and capacity building are crucial for sustainable and resilient irrigation development and water security in Africa. Capacity building and training are crucial factors for ensuring sustainability and resilience of the public-private partnership in irrigation development across Africa, especially for local water users. The discussion emphasized that well-designed coordination and partnership can strengthen the ability of PPPs to adapt to challenges, contribute to long-term sustainable irrigation management for agriculture development in Nigeria. The discussion further emphasized the need to address obsolete policies to facilitate the development of dynamic policy framework that effectively meet present-day challenges. Then the Niger Basin is a crucial resource that requires effective transboundary water policies to prevent and mitigate conflict. Strengthening regional cooperation, promoting sustainable management practices, and ensuring equitable resource allocation can enhance peace and economic development in the region. This requires political will, community involvement, and international support.
Observation raised by the SA with regards to policies not addressing recent issues, and if it's fragmented, how do you coordinate? I think it has to do with policy. That's very, very catchy. It was captured.
Okay. That's the second to the last point I read.
Thank you very much for attending this session and for all your contributions. It has enriched our knowledge. I think it's time for tea break. We can go for a tea break. Please ensure that you have written your name and have collected your Your meal ticket is with them. Please ensure that you wrote your name and have collected your meal ticket.